In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Finally, Israel's army is being attacked on a large scale. The biggest shock to Israel so far is that the person on your screen is the chief of Israel's ground forces, Major General Tamir Yadai, who resigned during the war. He has said that he does not want to be a part of the army, and Israel's army has claimed that it was due to personal reasons. The real story is that he has said enough is enough. Now we cannot bear the burden of the army, and in this situation, the generals of Israel's army are going to resign. Even more so, the soldiers who are fighting in the army are now ready to resign, and no one wants to bear the burden of the government in this situation. The general knows that the chief of the ground forces has never resigned during a war. You only resign when you know that you have nothing left. You are fighting a war in which Israel's destruction is the only thing left. Otherwise, no one would have resigned on this occasion. So the meaning of ground forces is that especially after the army chief, the chief who fights the forces on the ground, makes a plan, determining which areas to conquer and what to do. He was continuously reporting to Netanyahu that the situation on the ground was not good. He was also sending messages to the army chief, and in response to these reports, the army chief was repeatedly telling Netanyahu that the situation on the ground was very bad and out of control because the soldiers had refused to go to Gaza. On this basis, the army chief had asked Netanyahu to withdraw the army from Gaza. Now you can see that the generals are ready to resign, and those who want to resign have not even been given an alternative. Their resignation has been accepted. He has been saying for a long time that he wants to resign, and so he has finally done so. In all these circumstances, the most important thing he said was that until we get your alternative, you just work. The situation is so bad that they have realized they cannot win the war because Hamas's strategy has changed. Ever since Yahya Sinwar took over, he has changed the strategy, and now the danger is that the people will tear our clothes. Now the game is out of our hands. Look, there is a possibility that during the war, the Israeli army chief may also resign. Keep this in mind because he is tired of saying again and again that they don't want to fight. He is saying that the situation is not good. Netanyahu wants to keep the entire army in Gaza, but the country is not cooperating. Lebanon is ready to attack, continuously launching assaults. Iran is increasing its strength, and Yemen's forces are expected to enter from Lebanon, while Iraq's forces will join in too. The situation on the ground is very bad, and the most important thing is that the army has never fought such a war before. The war has not yet been imposed on them, but now that phase is beginning, and they are repeatedly saying they don't want to operate. Keep in mind that their ground forces only went to operate, and you can see that 6 people were killed, and now their prisoners are a big issue. Wherever they attack, they don't know if their prisoners are in a building, cave, or tunnel, and their people are dying there. Now the bigger situation is that especially the families of prisoners, to whom Netanyahu had given false consolation, are turning against him. For example, the families of those who have died have refused to meet Netanyahu, especially someone's wife, someone's daughter. Now you can imagine when even the army chief steps down, they send in a brigadier or a major general. You can see more than that. Even their president has stepped down. Yesterday, the president also left. They are abandoning Netanyahu, and he is destroying the whole situation. Today, the game is out of their hands. The generals have decided that they cannot participate in this war anymore. Now, if the army chief resigns in this ongoing war, what will happen? Keep in mind that only one strategy has changed, and Israel knows this very well. The war that took place on Sunday, they are now ready to fight to the death. They may have made a very dangerous plan after this. They were conducting operations and knew they had to save a prisoner every time. They did a simple thing. They struck where needed, pulled out their people, and killed them all. Now they are saying that not Israel, but the situation has worsened. The war is ongoing, and soldiers on the ground are saying they don't want to fight because the whole country is against them. No one understands where to fight. They are so fed up that flights all over the world are slowly resuming for Israel because they don't know when Iran will attack. What is Iran's strategy? We don't know. Flights have resumed, and Lebanon, Israel, and Iran are all watching the drama unfold. The game that was once centered on Iran has completely shifted to Netanyahu. Now, the situation is that resistance is emerging from within the army and soldiers are refusing to fight. When your army is not ready to fight, the first thing you do is court-martial them. But they are throwing down their weapons. Even worse, if you send them by force, what will they fight with? Netanyahu has told the prisoners' families to ask the army chief. He is doing this deliberately, avoiding the situation by not returning the prisoners' families, because he knows that if they bring them back, it will mean a prolonged war. All these things are now clear. The British Prime Minister has applied pressure, saying they will not sell weapons to Israel. Israel is now against the UK for this reason. The British PM stated they would help Israel, but public pressure can do a lot. The situation in Britain is very different, with people on the streets angry about this war and its effects on the world. Even before the war in Ukraine, the global situation was bad, and now with this new war, Israel's stance has worsened. Thousands of children have been killed, and people's hearts are broken. You can control the media as much as you want, but at the end of the day, the situation is clear. Netanyahu will either have to step down, or a massive war will break out within the army. These moments are approaching when the army will throw down its weapons and refuse to fight any longer. Now, take a look at the situation. Israel is preparing for another 7th of October, possibly in the West Bank. They are already signaling a larger war is coming. Israel's forces are facing destruction. Thousands of soldiers are dead, and most of them are disabled. Many suffer from PTSD after fighting in Gaza for 333 days, and they are now saying they don't want to fight anymore. In Israel, when the ground forces act like this, and the chief of the ground forces resigns, the situation on the ground is very bad. Shin Bet and other forces are repeatedly warning that this war is becoming very dangerous, and Israel is losing support globally. Those who continue to stand with Israel will face consequences from the people. Netanyahu is also playing another game, attempting to take over the judiciary, causing a constitutional crisis. He told Obama that pressure is being placed on him to act, but others cannot see what he sees. He believes if Israel leaves Gaza, they won't have another chance. He is trying to convey that their ancestors sacrificed for 2,000 years, and if they leave now, they will lose their rule. Netanyahu is now against the British Prime Minister, saying, "How dare you?" The British ships are being destroyed, and the UK must now deal with Yemen. The situation is such that during the Ukraine war, European countries are distancing themselves from Israel and taking action against them. The reality is that there is now a major conflict within Israel's army. Previously, generals fought each other for power. Now it's no longer about power, but about the realization that they are losing the war. They know they have been defeated. When the time comes, if the army chief resigns, the blame will fall on Netanyahu. The people will know the truth, and the danger is that either Netanyahu or the army chief will step down. And that wraps up today's edition of Reality News. If you enjoyed the content, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. See you all tomorrow.